This had its first run yesterday at the Southwest RC Truckers Meet in Bristol. How did it do? Let me tell you. Right, overall, very happy with this. Performed brilliantly, and I did make a couple of adjustments to it at the club, in the way of the Beier settings. The indicators, that's the sound effect you hear from the dashboard, I really didn't like it. You don't hear it from the outside anyway, so I mapped that out. Also, the dip beam was too bright, and this side started to flash because of those LED cob lights, which are 1 watt. It was overheating, so it was starting to flash. So as I plugged it in to code out the indicator sound, I reduced the intensity of the dip beam. Everything else brilliant, perfect, absolutely run like a dream. It was very well received at the club. Everybody loved it. A couple of people that I know and trust I let drive, because I wanted to, because when I'm working on it, I'm looking at this bit that I'm working on. When I'm driving it, I'm looking where it's going, and when somebody else drives it, I could look at it and admire it myself, which is one of the big things. Now, one of the other things that I did notice was the trailer. I put the ballast trailer on, and there was a bit of play in the pin, and I didn't know what that was. So basically, because everything's so heavy, I took the fifth wheel off, and I, tried to have a look at why there was a lot of play in it. Now on this, there's 2 stages. So when you, where's something to poke it with? If we look inside the jaws of the fifth wheel, it locks in there, which is almost enough, but it was kind of latching halfway, and it kept bouncing on that spring like that, because it wouldn't allow it to fully engage in like that, where both of the jaws come across. So I've had a look at why that was, why the kingpin itself on the trailer wasn't locating all the way to the front of the fifth wheel. So I took that off because I could then turn, let me just turn you around to look at the front of the ballast trailer. So I can tip this on its side very gently, and if I focus in on this, which has the wedge that fits into the fifth wheel, have I got a blank? Right, I've got a couple of blanks of the Tamiya standard fifth wheel. Now this is the stock. I've shown this on a previous video. These are the 2 fifth wheels. This one with the flat end is for the MFC, and this is the stock one. Now if I put this on here, you can see that there is a bit of play, whereas the stock fifth wheel fits in there, and once that's assembled, it's absolutely solid and turns the fifth wheel. So if anybody's got a fifth wheel that's the MFC, like that. Let me open this window blind a little bit so you can see it. So if anybody's got the fifth wheel that's got the MFC coupler switch in, I've made this adapter plate that fits over, let me zoom out a bit, that zooms over the fifth wheel like that, and then this can, you know, so if anybody that's got a fifth wheel that takes the MFC coupler switch, that is the adapter plate that I've made, and it works very well. Now this one, the other fifth wheel that I bought, and I think it's Lisu, this also has the bars that go across, slightly different mechanism, same principle. Now this is too thick to go on. The depth of that, let's say, is 8mm. This is 7.5mm. So or 8.5, and it won't go on. So that would need some material taken out under there. Now the fifth wheel that's fitted to the Scania is a lot thinner than a stock fifth wheel. Don't know if you can really see the stock Tamiya fifth wheel fits in there just right, but this one underneath, let me get a pointer, just here it catches. And then when it sits on there, there's a gap between the fifth wheel and that. So you have to lift it slightly, the trailer, to get over that step. And it is quite a gap between there and there. And then when I push that on, when I push that on like that, the handle only goes in part of the way, so I have to tilt it forward to fully engage it, which then means there's a big gaping gap. It's just, let me push my chair. There's a big, it doesn't sit square. So I like this oscillating fifth wheel. So basically, let me get this back round here. As I look down the throat of that, where that silver mark is just here, I'm going to have to taper that up. I'm going to have to taper that up so it rides up into it, and then as that fits in there, it doesn't fit on the, it doesn't fit over that wedge, so I'm going to have to notch this out only very slightly so it actually fits in the thing. Let me engineer that and I'll show you what I've done. Right, that is back together. I'll pull it apart, and when a kingpin goes in, it goes in. There's a little thing right at the very back that stands out, so it clicks all the way in like that. So I'm going to reassemble that. By simply putting the pin straight through the whole assembly and doing that. So now when I put the fifth wheel, let me move that around to the other side. And that fully latches in. And now there's no plate, none whatsoever. So let's try that again. So that's first latch and second latch in. That's it, done, fully engaged. So need to make a slip plate just to take out that gap behind the fifth wheel and this, which I have done with that. I could change the kingpin for a shallower kingpin, one that doesn't stand down so much, but then that would stop the Tamiya fifth wheel from latching. And as I said, the other one that I got just won't go on. It's far too thick, so that either wants planing down or this one's taken out of the bottom, but I'm not going to worry about that because I'm not using it. So yeah, that is when it's coupled up, that's fully engaged. Brilliant. Excellent. Right, let's get this tidied away and fit it back on the truck. Right, let's get some natural lighting, and that's had a little bit of grease on it, and now I can just simply put these back in. It is a simple case of whizzing 4 bolts back in. Which I had to drill and tap myself. But there you go. As with all upgrades, you have to do a little bit of fettling. They don't come with instructions. So, right, that is in. I'm going to make a plastic plate, and then later on I'm going to drop this off at the painter's house, because there are a couple of issues on the paintwork that need addressing. Small chip here, and the rest is on this side. Up here on the corner of the air kit, a little bit here under the door, and a little bit down here on the mudguard. So I'm going to make a slip plate for that, and I'll show you that. Is the plate that I've made, and that I'm going to put some double-sided tape under there, and that's going to stay on there. And that should just slip in there nicely. Thank heavens for that. I'm just going to tidy up the edges and get some very thin double-sided adhesive just to go on there and there, and the job's a good one. And that is back from Herbie RC Paints. He's touched up the little things that I said he was going to touch up and address, paint faults that I did while I was building it, juggling it around for 9 months, and you know, a couple of chips here and there, and it's done. It is now finished, and I am very, very happy with that. Very happy. That looks absolutely flawless. That paintwork is second to none. He's gone round it with polish because obviously I've got a load of fingerprints on it whilst I was putting it together. So he's put a fat microfiber cloth all over it. He's polished the rear deck plate, catwalk, the tanks, the doors, and everything. He's just completely detailed it. What can I say? That looks every bit $1 million truck. Yeah, very happy with that, very happy indeed. So I'm going to put a link to Herbie RC Paints in the description. I'll stick it up on the screen to his YouTube channel. He's not on social media, not on Facebook or anything like that. He's old school, really nice guy, known him for years, and the advantage of me having such a talented person is he lives really close to me, so I can pester him at any time. Yeah, really, really happy with that, very happy. And even I've gone to an extreme to protect what I've done, because this is yeah, this is a really special model. One that I never wanted to build. Not really into the whole Scania thing. And I do think it looks really good. Minimalistic graphics. Yeah, nothing at all apart from the STGO Cat 3 V8 770S. And the super stickers on the rear mud flaps. I cut them myself because I didn't want to cut up a decal sheet just to put the super stickers on. Guy made me the number plates. His name is Josh Powick, and the number plate JXX PJ74JXX is a reflection of my truck at work. It's just 23, but obviously this is a new truck, so it's 74. But yeah, absolutely beautiful looking truck. And this thing that it's sat on is the box that I've made for it. So let me show you what I've done to protect my hard work. Basically, it's a flight case that a digger came in. So I've got the Vabis on that side with the Scania chicken. Scania on the front, exactly where it's supposed to be, V8 on that side, and Super on the back. And to hold this in to the flight case, this then sits in here. Let's show you. It sits in there like so. And that sits in there. Tapered edge on here. So that sits on top of the fifth wheel. And that sits in there. And then this piece fits on there, so we can put radios and stuff. This is just a bit of a fleece blanket that fits in really nice, nothing touching around the edge, plenty of room, and that sticks up slightly, so when I shut the lid holds that partition down. And that is it. Really happy with how that's all turned out. Keys in there, some spare nuts and bolts for the wheels, etc. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to black that out with matte black paint. I'm going to put some gloss black on the lid there, and then I'm going to put, you know, like the Scania chicken here. I'm going to put Scania 770S here. Might do a V8 logo, I'm going to make a mural for the back, so when you open it you know what you're looking at. But yeah, that is it. And yeah, very happy with that indeed. And if you're wondering, that's my TRX4, my little mule, with a couple of other RC models that I'm going to tidy up and put away. But yeah, that is a wrap on here, and then Harriet can have a bedroom back. And she'll be happy about that. So yeah, that is it, folks.